the sixth Sunday in Ordinary Time, Jesus gets into the heart of the Sermon on the Mount and really detailing for us the difficulty that it really is to keep the law. Now, the first reading from Sirach highlights for us that we always have a choice to do right or wrong, good or evil, to follow the law or not, to reject it. And that choice always remains. But Jesus, in the Sermon on the Mount, kind of brings us to this place of grappling with the impossibility of keeping God's law, at least all the time. It is impossible for a human person to really be, completely converted on their own. It's just absolutely impossible. And even starting with the Beatitudes that we heard a couple of weeks ago, Jesus starts with these commandments and the command to be poor in spirit. How can you just be dependent on God in the depth of your heart? That's the starting point and is really the framework of the rest of it. Actually, this is a thought coming to me live. That's the interpretive key for the rest of the sermon. Your poverty of spirit is the only thing that's going to unlock the truth and meaning and hope that Jesus provides in the rest of the sermon. So when we get to this Sunday's readings, and Jesus opens up you have heard it said that whoever kills will be liable to judgment, but I say to you, whoever is angry with his brother. You have heard it said that, whoever commits adultery is liable to judgment. But I say to you, whoever looks upon a woman with lust in his heart has already committed adultery. The extent that Jesus, the depth that he interprets the law goes all the way down to the core of our heart. And, if you're honest with yourself, and, he opens up a few other ones too, like just don't even swear at all. Just do it. Do what's right, Don't promise somebody you're going to do it, and not follow through, or, don't promise by God, whatever. He opens up these different things where he's really just highlighting, that, the law is really supposed to go down to the core of our hearts. And if we're honest with ourselves, his words are indicting. You may never have killed somebody. You may never have committed adultery, but your heart is twisted in some way that you have held it against someone. You have not always loved rightly, perfectly, totally, and any honest person, any God-fearing person is going to hear those words of Jesus and recognize, I have failed. I can't do it on my own. And herein again comes that poverty of spirit, not just a recognition of my inability or my emptiness, but a recognition of my need to be dependent on God. Because Jesus doesn't just tear us down for the sake of leaving us in the gutter. He tears us down for the sake of, clarifying our vision, and coming to a place of total trust in him. He tears us down for the sake of the hope that he provides in the promise that he makes to us, that he will transform the hearts and heal the hearts of all those who come to him with that posture of poverty and receptivity. So you failed. I failed. And far from beating us up, Jesus holds out a hand and says, I promise total transformation of your whole life, that you might know the experience of love, not just from the other side, but the freedom of loving yourself, the freedom of loving from within you. That's what I've come to bring you. So, don't let this be a reading that leaves you hopeless, but recognize it for what it is. Coming to it from that place of being poor in spirit, we can see the hope that the Lord provides.